If we understand how simple the feedback loop of stress actually is, you can maybe, instead of feeling overwhelmed by stress, you can translate that into just feeling excited, and you can practice with these tools to stay calm and feel better in each of these situations. Here's a simplified version of the feedback loop of stress. So we have 3 different sources of stress that we feel, and there's the external world, number 1, so the environment around us, and then there's our internal world, so to speak, or our mental state, which is about our mindset, and then there's the biological and hormonal state, right? And the biological and hormonal is simply adjusted very easily by getting enough sleep, managing your intake of coffee, and also by adjusting your nutrition. That highly affects your hormonal profile of stress hormones so that you can lower your levels of cortisol and adrenaline. I'll create an example now to understand this very well. You get invited to a TV show. So the TV show represents the external world and your environment. They'll tell you, you will get $1 million if you can memorize a 12-digit number that you will be told 2 times only. Okay, and then you will have to say the number. If you say it correctly, you'll get $1 million. If you don't, you will not get $1 million. Okay, and I think you can immediately agree that you would get a strong stress response. You could probably easily measure your adrenaline skyrocket, and probably cortisol as well get elevated. In this case, where you have to perform very well up here in order to achieve something, right? Now we will introduce one of my tools and techniques, the most powerful tool I could give you. In this case, that could help you reduce this stress response, and it's going to be a really good example here, would be what I call the notes and numbers rule. And that means you never try to remember things during your workday. You always write everything down in a small notepad. So that's, imagine in the TV show that they will allow you to write the number down, allow you to take notes. Then immediately your stress response would be far less severe. So in this case, you can imagine, wow, I can just write the number down, easy peasy. They're even going to tell me the number twice, right? So as soon as I tell you the 12-digit number, you will just be like, I can do that. You don't need to get like really stressed. You will actually start to replace the feeling of being overwhelmed by stress by feeling excited. And also you will stay more calm, right? It's a really good example. So we have, by using one of my tools and techniques, we have lowered the internal and mental workload or your perception of stress on the mental side, so to speak, right? So you will think, this looks easier. I can do this. I'm excited about this, right? So this is what we're doing with all these 30 rules that you will learn in this course. Another way you could lower your biological response would be to use another technique, such as the 90% rule. In this case, imagine in the TV show that you would only get the money, get the $1 million, if you could repeat the numbers in 2 seconds. Like, that would also be daunting, right? So that's the same as if on your job, your boss tells you to finish the work as fast as possible or finish this job in 10 minutes, right? If it's a difficult task, that would also be stressful, right? Now let's imagine you introduce a rule that you're only supposed to work at 90% work pace immediately. That would appear a lot easier. You would not even have to work as fast as you can. It completely changes the way you perceive the situation. if you should just repeat the number at 90% pace, well, easy peasy. You wouldn't even have to exert yourself. And keep in mind, working at 90% of your maximum work pace still is very close to 100%, right? And it won't wear you out the same way, and it doesn't appear as a lot of pressure. In other words, you would stay more calm, and you would probably feel more excited about the job, getting the job done, and it would feel easier. So generally, overall, it works like this. So you have like a workload from the outside world, and that creates an internal workload by how you perceive the task, okay? And that creates a biological and hormonal response, such as adrenaline, feeling excited. So in the big picture, you have the external workload of your job, and then you have your internal workload. That's the pressure you put on yourself to get the job done. And then you have your biological system, your body,